Hello and welcome to What's Hot. I'm Vivek Law.
And I'm Harsha Subramaniam, and here's what's hot tonight. India's private sector airlines want a bailout from the government. They plan to suspend all domestic flights on the 18th of August to press for their demands.
You probably see the market at 25,000.
In a rare interview, Vishal Kampani speaks his father's mind, says Nimesh Kampani is bullish on the Indian market. He hopes to see the Sensex at 25,000 in 2 years.
Recession. Okay. Because we're charging so little, nobody can take us on.
In an exclusive interview, Cyrus Poonawalla revealed the secret of his $7 billion Serum Institute and how it has been vaccinated from the recession. The big story this evening, there's turbulence in store for passengers of India's private airlines who have decided to suspend all domestic flights on the 18th of August. This is to press the government to accede to their demands and offer them a bailout package.
Well, the Federation of Indian Airlines dramatically announced the decision today to suspend flights and said if the government does not respond, the protest may continue indefinitely. The sector wants rationalization of taxes, cuts in airport charges and ATF to be given, declared good status among others. Hear it out from Vijay Mallya, chairman of Kingfisher.
All of us met. We spent a long time together. We looked at the environment, the operating costs, the forecasted passenger demand, the losses that we are all suffering. And just because, some of us reduced our losses during a particular quarter, or some of us made a little profit in a particular quarter, doesn't mean it's sustainable. At the end of the day, we are in a business that is becoming increasingly unviable only because we are taxed to death. And government needs to listen to our pleas. We want a declared good status for fuel, so we pay 4% tax. Our average cost, sales tax, is now 26%. Unsustainable.
All right, for more on this, we're now joined by Ajay Singh, Director of SpiceJet, and Saroj Datta, Executive Director of Jet Airways. Gentlemen, many thanks for joining in. Mr. Datta, if I can begin by asking you, assuming that, all these demands that has been made by the private sector airlines is met by the government, would you think the situation would still improve for the airline industry?
We know the declared good status with 40% of the costs being aviation turbine fuel costs, expense out of the total operating expenses, a reduction in sales tax by roughly 22%, average sales tax by 22% will obviously have a significant impact. I haven't worked out the actual amount, but which you can easily do. It should result in an 8-10% saving in cost. So similarly, airport development charges we estimate the total increases that have taken place is roughly a $250 million cost to the industry annually. So these are significant amounts in the context of a loss that the industry is incurring today.
Let's get Mr. Ajay Singh, who's also joining us on the phone line, Director, SpiceJet. Mr. Singh, were you part of the discussions as well today? Are you also a signatory to this protest? And we've heard Dr. Mallya say that in the event of things not getting better at the government's end, it might not just be one day, but might be indefinite. How do you see things panning out, both for yourself as well as for the industry from here on?
Well, let me just clarify. You said when you introduced the story that the airlines were looking for a bailout. The airlines are not looking for a bailout. Essentially what the airlines are saying is that let us create an aviation environment in which the cost of aviation in India is comparable to the cost of aviation anywhere in the world. Today, airlines in India are paying 60 to 70% higher tariff on aviation turbine fuel. Sales tax is averaging 26 to 30%, and we are requesting that this sales tax be put at a level which is sustainable and which is comparative to any other airline in any other part of the world. Similarly, airport charges, landing and parking fees is very high. There is a new ground handling policy which increases the cost of aviation further. We believe that we should be, in terms of cost, put at the same level as airlines in other parts of the world. And after that, essentially the government should allow...
Ajay, how bad are things... Ajay, how bad are things with you at SpiceJet? I mean, we've heard Jet, we've heard Kingfisher saying that they are in very bad shape, they're bleeding. Is it the same situation with you? How dire is the situation as far as you're concerned?
Well, SpiceJet has made money in the last quarter, but this is an issue which is not about SpiceJet alone. It is about the entire industry. And we believe that for the entire industry to survive, it is important that the costs which are within the control of the government be brought at a level which are sustainable and internationally comparable.
Ajay, the minister has reacted to the afternoon, the press conference that you all had by saying that both ATF and sales tax are state subjects. We are trying to convince state governments, but nothing's really working out. You know the way the entire structure works. Are you hopeful?
Well, we are hopeful. We have been hopeful for many years. Unfortunately, we have written to the government individually as airlines and as the FIA, and we have been doing it for at least the last 2 years. Unfortunately, no action has been taken, even though the Ministry of Civil Aviation has strongly endorsed what we have to say. We believe it's time for the government to take some action to ensure that this sector remains viable.
Mr. Datta, is there a problem with the way the existing business models of these airlines work, and perhaps that's why it's making it unviable? For instance, there is a Paramount that flies lesser routes and smaller aircraft that's profitable.
Now, please remember, Paramount has a declared good status as far as ATF is concerned. It has a significant benefit compared to all the other airlines, whether it's a low-cost operator or a full-service airline. And that they have enjoyed from the first day that they have started operations, because they fall in the category of airline operators who enjoy the 4% declared good status on ATF.
Point taken. Ajay, just a quick point on why now? Because, why wasn't this raised, and this has been a long-standing demand, why has it reached such a high climax point, and why was this protest not happen when you guys were doing irrational pricing and cost-cutting, which is clearly not viable?
Well, it's not that it's happened now. We have been writing about this for at least 2 years, if not more. We have been speaking at every single forum, individually as airlines and as the FIA. At some point of time, there has to be a limit to the number of times you can approach government. And the airline industry as a whole has taken a lot of losses in these last 2 or 3 years. I think as an industry, the feeling is that these losses cannot be sustained any longer.
All right. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining us. Clearly, things don't look very good. 18th is then the D-Day. Perhaps we'll be able to fly that day, or perhaps we won't. Certainly not the private airlines, but let's see where the story heads from here.